This is the OBSBOT Meet 2, and this is the Insta360 Link 2C. Both of these are half-inch sensor, budget, 4K webcams. But which of these webcams is the better deal? Let's find out in this webcam duel. By the way, OBSBOT did send me the Meet 2 for this Versus video, but I should also note that Insta360 did send me the Link 2C for another video, and everything I say in this video are my thoughts only. Round 1. Weight. So the OBSBOT Meet 2 weighs 71.8 grams, and now without the mount, 45 grams. Without the cover, 41 grams. And as a package, the Link 2C weighs 110 grams, and the webcam on its own, Link 2C weighs 45.7 grams. So the Meet 2 set is about 40 grams lighter than the Link 2C set, which makes it more portable and safer. I have read horror stories about people putting the Link 2C on their laptop and having this much weight fall onto their keyboard. 40 grams is about half the weight of a modern flagship phone, so that is substantial. This round goes to the OBSBOT Meet 2. Round 2. Build quality. They're both some kind of hard plastic. The Meet 2 has metal threading. The Link 2C's threading is included in the mount. Overall, both very well made. This round is a tie. Round 3. Image quality. So the image quality test is primarily about dynamic range, about whether or not the webcams can show the highlights and the shadows in the scene. In these videos, I have set my studio light to 100%, which is very bright. And lower quality webcams tend to struggle with bright lights. The highlights get washed out and the details disappear. But I was very impressed with how both the Meet 2 and the Link 2C capture every bit of detail in the highlights. Maybe with the brightest spots we do lose a bit of detail, but we can't really tell anymore. As for sharpness, both webcams are tack sharp, and here's how they look in glorious 4K resolution. I find that with the default settings, the Link 2C does render a bit sharper, which actually isn't my preference. It kind of feels like an over-sharpened Samsung phone. But if we're just looking at the objective specs, I don't think either of them has the edge over the other. This round is a tie. Round 4. Bokeh or background blur. First, we'll look at the natural bokeh of these two webcams, with both of these webcams having half-inch sensors. Both of them have pleasing bokeh. There's not a whole lot that they look like a DSLR or mirrorless camera, but there's just enough to create some separation between you and the background, assuming your background is deep enough. Now for the bokeh that comes with their included software, I think both of them are pretty decent at lower intensity levels. I noticed with the Meet 2 that the more you increase the blur, the more you see this kind of a transparent outline around you. And with the Link 2C, there's a lot of 3D pop, kind of like there's a green screen behind you. Both of them can be fairly consistent with a bokeh if there's not a lot going on in the frame, but the moment that you introduce a foreground object, or there are a few extra things that make your background busier, the inconsistencies tend to pop up. But overall, both of them are usable at a lower setting. This round is a tie. Round 5. Chromatic Aberration. So you can see a bit of purple fringing on the Earthworks ethos when you look at the OBSBOT Meet 2. That is not present on the Link 2C. So the Link 2C lens is better in that regard. This round goes to the Insta360 Link 2C. Round 6. Tracking. I found that the Link 2C's tracking or cropping was a bit jerky. One small move and it really crops in. Whereas with the OBSBOT Meet 2, it was a bit slower, a bit smoother. I tried to look for settings to change that on the Link 2C. Maybe I'm just missing something, but overall I prefer the tracking on the Meet 2. This round goes to the OBSBOT Meet 2. Round 7. Autofocus. In terms of autofocus, I'm a bit torn. There was a time when the Meet 2 wouldn't stop pulsing back and forth, but at the same time, the Link 2C, at times, is very snappy and reliable. But there was also a time when it took forever to focus. For the Meet 2 though, I just changed the autofocus setting to global instead of face, and that made the Meet 2 much more usable. This round goes to the OBSBOT Meet 2. Round 8. Software. The Insta360 Link controller and the OBSBOT Center app have a lot in common. They have basic sliders for brightness, contrast, and exposure. They have color filters, bokeh, blur, zoom features, and other useful features. But just in my experience overall with the 2 months or so that I have been using these webcams, I always found the Insta360 Link controller app to be more dependable. This round goes to the Link 2C. Round 9. Microphones. Alright, I'm speaking into the Insta360 Link 2C's built-in microphones. How does this sound? The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Okay, so you're hearing me speak into the OBSBOT Meet 2's built-in microphone. This has no post-processing whatsoever, just like the Link 2C. How does this sound? The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I think the Link 2C sounds substantially better, so I think that does justify the microphone array they added on top. Now, that makes the Link 2C a 2-in-1 device where you actually improve your image quality and your audio quality. And even though it's bigger than the Meet 2, I think the size difference is negligible for the extra benefit that you get. This round goes to the Link 2C. Round 10. Stuttering. Sadly, I had to create an entire new category just because of this concern. The Link 2C tends to be a stuttery webcam. Now, I could blame my MacBook Air M2 with 8GB of RAM, but those specs are well within the target market for this device. On the other hand, I'm barely having any stuttering issues with the Insta360 Link 2C. The moment I turn on the virtual webcam for the OBSBOT Meet 2, the software introduces a whole lot of lag. Whereas with the Link 2, the effects do introduce a tiny bit of lag, and of course the more effects, the more lag, but I'm at least able to use the Link 2C with some effects. So this round goes to the Insta360 Link 2C. Round 11. Thermals. Again, I had to create an entirely new category for this because it hasn't been a concern for me before, but after 40 minutes of straight recording with both of these webcams in 1080p in an air-conditioned room at 26 degrees Celsius, I found that the Meet 2 was noticeably hotter than the Link 2C, and how did I know? It stopped turning on for a while, and when that happened, I began to touch it and noticed that, oh, there's an overheating problem right now. Thankfully, I had dinner, came back, and the Meet 2 was entirely usable again. But now I think I'm starting to see the drawbacks of the Meet 2's minimalist design. This round goes to the Insta360 Link 2C. Round 12. Price to performance. At first, I was so sure that these webcams would have an equal price to performance ratio. The Meet 2 is cheaper, but it doesn't have the microphone array, so maybe those who just want improved video will go for the Meet 2. But as I've mentioned so far, there were some areas where the Meet 2 really was just supposed to work and did not. So even if the Link 2C didn't come with better audio and all it had going for it was the added reliability, I would still pay the difference between these two to get the more reliable device. As the saying goes, buy nice or buy twice. Round 13, low light. This was supposed to be round 4, but I messed up the sequence. So I tried both the Meet 2 and the Link 2C in different low light conditions, and they both performed quite well. Both of them have half-inch sensors, and I have a theory that they might be the exact same Sony sensor. I could be wrong, but it's possible. Anyhow, this round is a draw. That said, the winner of this video is the Insta360 Link 2C. I still want to thank OBSBOT for sending me the Meet 2 at no cost, and they were very gracious and allowed me to do some extensive testing before doing this review. They're not previewing this video, and they're not paying me in any way, and neither is Insta360, so everything I say in this video are my thoughts only. Still, I think OBSBOT really innovated with the Meet 2. It is a slick-looking device, great form factor with still some great image quality. I hope what I've shared in this video is taken as feedback, and I'm really looking forward to future OBSBOT products. By the way, I want to thank these incredible people. Thank you. If you're looking to optimize your audio and avoid costly audio purchasing decisions, check out my course, Creator Audio Tactics, down below. And if you like this video, make sure to check out this one.